7.
Oh
Yeah.
no, buddy.
I only got 10 minutes left of my break and no
Oh
headphones.
no,
Yeah,
buddy.
it's a shorter call today. Same thing, just gonna go over kind
Bruh.
of the basics that we've learned and like kind of some setups we took and kind of what happened today.
Christopher, are you watching this chart?
Yes, I am. All right, we'll start with the same old, same old. Mr. Sean, how many trades for today? If you're still here.
I actually haven't taken any trades this week at all yet. Still trying to figure my way around Top Step X.
For sure, for sure. Andy, any trades today?
Took like three,
For sure, for sure.
three trades.
Nice. Okay, Cam, how many trades today? And was the one right, if any?
I took one paper trade and it like fucked up. Like it did a market fill instead of a limit, so I don't think I ever would have got in. But it was like green for like 2 points and like went all the way. Yeah, because it rejected Trump.
Mr. Desmond, any trades today?
I took 5 trades.
5, okay. That's a hefty amount. It's the one right.
5 for 5.
Okay, a little 4 for 4 combo action. Okay, nice, nice.
Yes, sir.
What was the okay? Okay, we'll go over that in a bit. Okay, nice to hear. Mr. Galaxy, any trades today? Good sir.
I took 2 trades. They were both losses, and I took some paper trades after, which were
Shorts or longs on the losses? Just curious.
I went long yesterday during Asia, and then I think I tried longing again, but it just was in a free fall last night.
I
So
see. Okay, so I think fighting the trend there was the issue, especially during Asia.
yeah,
Okay, Mr. Lorenzo, if you are here and able to speak, how many trades did you take?
Is Lorenzo Rich Pass?
Yeah.
He said 0
0.
in the chat.
For sure, for sure. All right. Perfect. Same thing. Oh, let me share my screen. Today is just gonna be a quick overview because it is kind of late in the day. It is my fault. I wanted to hop on a bit earlier today to do some live trading, but wasn't able to. So we'll do that tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, today was basically a pitch perfect example of yesterday's call, where the supply and demand levels kind of played out to the T. Right, from New York session open to where was New York session? Right here. Right, from New York session open to the highs to the lows of the day. Right at our key levels that we drew out yesterday. Right, these fresh levels were literally drawn yesterday from previous data. You can see we had a level right at those lows. We never closed below that 23.034, and then we had a high level at these highs at this 23.252, which we never also technically closed above. We got a little bit of candle, but it instantly got sold off at open. We are actually finally breaking that high of day of 252 on Nasdaq. So our levels are pretty spot on. You can see this 174 was also pretty spot on here, and here on this breakdown. Our 120 level was also pretty good for the breakout here, and the breakdown here. So I hope everybody did watch that, how to find the key levels yesterday, because I mean, these levels basically navigated our session for the day, right? Using this on top of price action, on top of RSI, you would have been able to find some nice setups. I do believe I caught 2 setups today only, right? 2 setups. So one was this short right here, and then the other was a long. What was my entry on that long? Let me see my exact entry. And then a long here on this breakout. So those are the 2 trades for the day. I took those both on this one on the break of the lows, this one on the break of the highs to catch the upside move here, and then the downside move here. And if you notice something, right, when I took this long, our RSI was finally bottomed out and flattened out. When I took this short, our RSI was finally topped out and flattened out. So I tried basically just catching the major moves of the day for today. Tried playing the bigger picture here with the R side being top down, bottom down, both these trades. There was a couple of trades I did miss. I did sadly miss these two areas for a short, and I sadly missed this area for a long and this area for a long. But you can see how the same concepts we've been learning all week, right? Or our price action, how when we break highs, right, and turn our previous resistance into support, previous resistance into support, previous resistance into support, and then now in this case scenario, I'm probably going to turn that 252 into support here. You kind of see how everything's kind of falling into place. I mainly traded out the 5 today. The 5 was kind of the nice shaboing in my opinion today. This 15 was also pretty good, especially with this wick here coming to our pre-market low, creating that liquidity and closing above, and then we did get a nice move to the upside, but then we did come back down and end up double bottoming. So this level is actually a pretty key level now. This 23.034, we did end up double bottoming there, holding that low. I don't know if you guys could see, if I zoom in maybe, how we did technically create a higher low when we retested here, right? Like just by a tad bit, by almost like 2 points. So that does mean buyers did step in previously than they had here, indicating pretty possible double bottom slash reversal, which we did end up getting. Our second entry for this long, if you missed this double bottom, would have been this area where I did enter along as well. On the 1 minute, I tried entering on the reset. I only was able to enter off the reset to median. Where was it? It was right around this area, somewhere in this area. When we came down, retested this 120, I do believe I entered when we broke this high right around that area, and then we cut that upside move, and then boom, I did sadly fucking TP way too early. I TP'd like right around 150 around these highs. I should have TP'd at this 174 and then held for VWAP. But then second trade came along. It was actually this short. So first of all, we were hitting VWAP. We don't really hit VWAP much on the day, like I said. It doesn't really come into hand too much, but we did finally hit VWAP. So that was one small confluence. Another one was we made this higher high and fell to close above, and then we started breaking these lows. So my entry was actually on the break of these lows and break and close and retest of trauma, which was right around 203. So then from 203, we cut this move all the way down here. And then that 5 minute did hold median, so that's why we ended up holding that area. If you come over to our 5, around that time, you can see median, right? This was just a bullish reset to median here. This created that bullish reset to median. We held 5 minute trauma. Hypothetically speaking, if we would have broke under trauma close and then that 5 minute median started breaking, could have possibly saw that 120 and then that 23.034. But it never did break under, so it just ended up bouncing, and that was the bullish reset. And you can see now, right? Look at this high on the R side compared to this high on the R side. We get our bullish reset there. And then, yeah, those are basically the two trades of the day that I personally took. I mean, I hope those kind of make sense, and they were kind of based on levels too. You can see, like, we weren't at that 252 yet. You know, we made that lower high when I did take that short, and then when I did take this long, it was off that hold of that 23.034, which also lined up with that low of day. And we did wait for the break of those previous highs, and then that retest to enter right around here. So
Hey, Chris, can I ask a question
Yes, sir.
really quick? So, all right, a double bottom, if it is like, all right, you see how right where you were, there's, yeah, those two, the double bottom right there, right? If there is further back in time, the same spot, is that another, does that matter like that, like on Wednesday, you see it hit
Yeah,
that
that actually
same
is,
spot,
it is,
back, or
that
it's,
is
or is it
also
just
important.
supposed
Yes, it is nice to mind. Like keep that in mind, because when you look at now, like if you switch over to 4 hour, I didn't even like really look at the 4 hour. Yesterday when we did talk about the charting session, I don't know if you were here. We did mention these two wicks, because like Galaxy mentioned, like, or I don't know if it was Galaxy or Sean. Somebody was like, how do you like identify what's a key level, right? And your key levels are always going to be your bigger time frame highs and lows. So just off this, I would say these lows, right? These lows, right? These highs. And these highs, just off rip, if you zoom out to your bigger time frame, you can instantly like tell those are going to be key levels of support. If for some reason we would have came down and closed under here, we would have probably saw a downside all the way to that 227.878 down to these wick lows. So that is also a good sign, Desmond. Yes, these previous wicks are very important because it has been our key support many times there.
Okay, thank you.
And technically, like, the bigger the time frame for the double bottom, the better, because, like, you know, if you see a double bottom on the 1, it's not going to be as good as one on the 15 or the 5, etc. So the bigger the time frame, the better for that as well. But yeah, not much to really go over today. It was kind of a simple, slow Monday. If anybody has any questions on the trades I took, anything of that nature, if there's a reason I didn't take another setup like this short, for example, or something like that, just let me know. The setup was there, don't get me wrong, when we did break these lows, trauma, this level. So I just didn't get an entry on that one, missed this nice short. But if you were trading the strategy, man, here would be the confluences for that trade, right? First of all, we create that liquidity, come back up, try to break the high, fail to do so. Then we start breaking those lows, close under trauma, close under that 174. 5 minutes starts breaking median, we close under, retest, reject, make a higher low once again, right there, and then again break these lows. There's many entries for the short. I sadly was just fucking didn't catch it, but that setup was definitely there. This was probably the trade of the day. That was a nice short you could have possibly caught right near open. This long was also pretty good. It was just kind of choppy, slow grind up. Same with the short. It's pretty good. It was just slow grind down and ended up being a bullish reset.
I have a divergence question.
Let me hear it.
I took a screenshot of it earlier, so I don't know if it's like still there or not, but
Take a look.
I was looking at like, I think it was on the 5 and the 15, but it had made a lower low on the RSI, or actually no,
Okay, so
it
I
made
see what you mean.
a lower high
Mhm.
and then an equal price on the RSI.
This one, right?
Let me see. Yeah.
So do you notice a couple things here?
Yeah, so prices opening up, so there's more room to the upside. It found support off a median, and I guess it's above trauma now.
Yeah, so at the
There
time
might be something
being,
missing.
there's, from this alone, I can't, like, if I go on my chart, I'll be able to explain it fully, but just off this, you're right. So you can see this high on the R side, this high on the R side, and this high, right? So if we zoom out, this was probably around a key level on the R side. So first of all, we have the R side level, right? And then, like you said, price is now lower than it previously was, and the R side is the same spot. Which short term could be bullish, because now if the bands open up, the R side goes higher. Now price will be at these highs, but R side will be higher, and now you could possibly get a reset. And that was around, let's see, this time, right? And you can see that's what ended up happening. We ended up breaking that high, and then even though, like, we're not above a full high, this was technically bullish for the time being, like a bullish divergence once we break. Because you can see once that did happen, we got our move to upside. It was kind of like scary because we got this little chop here, which probably could have faked a lot of people out. But if you would have went to your 5, you would have been able to set a nice stop loss right under that, like 174 area right here under 5-minute trauma. And we did make that wick to the downside because we held median on there, held median on the 15, and ended up breaking the high, and then the band was opening up. But the key thing to realize in that situation, right, is that band on the 15. Because that band wasn't flat at all, right? Say that band was flat for some reason, it could have easily just rejected that RSI level, created that little double top on the RSI, and then made a lower high, and then came back down, made a lower low, and broke that full low of the day. But you can see the bands opening up fully, and then it did end up playing out. And it's good that you noticed that before it actually did happen. I didn't see this, but so that's a nice thing to look at when you're actually trading.
Thank you. I did want to get in that long, but I felt like it was too early because it didn't test that high yet. And so, like, I don't really know, like, what would be valid to get in.
No, I get it, because technically it kind of still looks bearish on the, like, you're like, oh, we haven't broken any previous highs, which is true. But remember, just because we don't break the full high doesn't mean you can't catch the. Remember, it's just technically range to the top of the range, right? Just because you don't catch an
Mm-hmm.
entry at like the bottom or the top of the range doesn't mean you can't like trade in between the range. It's gonna be a lot more risky, and you're gonna have to have like good entry slash stop losses for when you're trading in
Mm-hmm.
between the range. But definitely you are right. Like your better entry on the long would be a full break above the top of the range. Once we start like actually being fully bullish again. But there was a couple possible long entries, but the short at the open was probably the play of the day that we sadly did miss.
Thank
And
you.
Galaxy, I have a question for you, good sir. On the 2 losing trades you
Yeah.
took, right? What were the confluences you had, or what was the setup? I want to take a look at that.
I need to check.
Do you know around
One
what time it
second.
was?
The first one, it like chopped up a couple points and then it like dumped. So I think, let's see. Yeah, it was around 10 or no. Yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern. So
7 o'clock. I think I actually was trading during this time. Okay, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock is 42. And you went long or short? You went long, you said.
I went long.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what time frame were you playing?
I think I was just playing the 1 minute.
Okay, so that was probably your issue. And after hours, if there's no volume,
Yeah.
that 1 minute's gonna fake you out a lot. Remember, after hours is low volume. So you might see a setup,
Mhm.
and it'll play out, and it'll literally be 2 points, 3 points, if there's no volume. So come over 7 o'clock. So what, you were like playing this falling wedge, or were you trying to play the break of these highs, or what was the setup here?
No, it was just yeah, I was trying to play the break of those highs. Like coming into the day, I think the mistake I made was I was actually bullish and like having a daily bias, I think kind of messed me up. But yeah, I was looking for it to get to that 418 level and I was hoping for it to bounce.
Wait, you said you took it
But
10 p.m. Eastern, right?
yeah,
So what is that
like when the
uh,
RSI was bottomed out on the 1 minute.
fuck, well, this shit's a military time, bro. I'm a jackass, so this would be open 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7. Okay, right here. So right around this area, right?
hmm
Okay.
Actually, no, that's too far.
No, is that not this one? Is my math wrong?
No,
4, 3, 7. It should be 7 p.m. PST.
wait, let me see. Oh wait, no, my time. Okay, yeah, no, never mind. It's earlier.
Around this area? 17:20.
Yeah, it was at. Yeah, it was 10 p.m. Eastern. A second, let me check your chart. Yeah, it was there. That's
Okay.
where it was. Okay.
All right. So you tried longing here around this area, or which area? Like,
No, earlier.
here.
Yeah, I tried longing there.
Okay. So first things first. One thing you did was you entered in between the range, right? It wasn't the top or the bottom of the range. So first of all, you're already
hmm
entering in between the range. So this is always going to be a riskier entry. Because even if you look at this on the bigger picture, the long did end up playing out. You probably just got stopped out before it did because your entry was
Yeah.
kind of in between the range. So remember, entries are key. And I could see why you took the entry, right? You know, your one was bottomed out right here. We started trying to break these previous highs, but we never broke above these highs or this 4.6, these previous highs here at this 4.64 area. So there was technically no full long-term long buys here. There could be a potential for a scalp here on this one because that one was flat. We come up here, start breaking median, You get your little pop there, right? Okay. So that was on the 1. Let's see what the 5 was doing. So 1605. So yeah, this 5. If you would have came over to your 5, it looks a lot less bullish for the time being, right? Because
Yeah.
we never broke no highs here. Haven't broke over that level. This 5-minute is bottomed out, remember? But just because it's bottomed out doesn't mean we're gonna long. If you would have waited for that break of median, right, you would have been able to catch the full breakout here. You see how the break of median kind of aligns with the actual break of the
Yeah.
top of the range?
I have a question about like the bands and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Is it bottomed out when the bands are flat and topped out when the bands are flat, or is it like
Yeah, so yeah, you want to
how's
see
it?
flatness. Like you can see how it could like it's kind of gonna sometimes have a lump like this. The reason why for the lump
Mhm.
is because at the time it was opening up, but it comes back in and flattens out. You see how there's that lump and then the
Okay,
flatness.
so that's what's considered flattened out. Okay.
Yeah. So
And
most
then
of the time when you have those peaks, there's always gonna be like a little lump, but then it's flat.
if it overextends and it comes back into the bands,
Mm-hmm.
would that be considered like as as it's just resetting, or is it considered as like
Uh,
a short option?
it could be a short opportunity, but the thing is, remember, just because there's a short opportunity, once that does reset, that doesn't mean like it could still be a bullish reset and you could catch a short, right? Because if you're catching a short, it could just be a retrace, but it's still a good short. For example, this one ended up being a
Makes
bullish
sense.
reset, but I still caught a short off it, right? On this 5-minute. So you can see how
Hmm.
the R side was topped out, came back in, and then
Yeah.
I didn't enter right when it was at topped out. I entered like right around this candle, so it was already back inside the band and back flat when I entered, right?
Hmm.
And then I did catch this small move to median, which ended up being a bullish reset. Say we would have broke median and then came back to the bottom of the band and then flattened out, we could have ended up getting a bullish reset depending on where price is. Say for some reason like price bottoms out here now, and then we reset on the 5. Now we have room up, and then we have that possibility for room up. And you can see this fucking candle at end of the
Makes
day,
sense.
bro, just shot us up right above New York session high. That's fucking crazy. It's an insane candle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we finally did break that New York session high there, right at close. But I mean, you can see same thing where we said our support is gonna turn into resistance to support. When we finally did break and close that 252, you can see we start consolidating right above it, held and then got the big fuck you rip, and that did happen. I think that
Hmm.
might have been earnings though, to be
For
honest.
for like the divergences that are just like chopping up, does it have to like what if it's a steep move down and it's not like chopping up slowly like it is right now?
Like on price action wise, when we come to retest the level, or what do you mean?
No, like RSI wise, like is there supposed to be multiple touches for the
Divergence?
like trend lines? Yeah.
Uh, technically, yeah. Like for example, I wouldn't really draw divergence from this bottom to here because it's kind of like chopped. Like you could draw it, but it's not like really there. Like, right? You would almost just be drawing shit for no reason at this point. But like I get like you could be like, oh, that's a divergence, right? Which yeah, it's like it's just in this case scenario, the divergence more so would have been the break of these lows right here, and then the break of median. Not so much a
Oh, okay.
divergence on this short for like the open, right? There was no real divergence here. The other divergence would be the RSI highs. This is like most of the time when there's not a trend line divergence, there's some sort of divergence, right? Look at these RSI highs and look at price action highs, and then your break of median would be your other confluence for a potential add on the break of these lows.
Okay. And then back to the bands. Are you only supposed to take like trades when the bands are opening or when it's flat, not when it's
Uh,
closing?
no, you could take trades on anything. There's time and situation for every type of thing. There's not like, it depends on like every other confluence, right? Say the bands are tightening and we're consolidating and we're holding a level, right? You take an entry when they're tightening up and you're at the bottom of the band. You could be expecting for that level to hold and play the upside move to that. There's many ways to technically do it. this was like a nice form of that like divergence here that did end up breaking. You didn't get much of a pop because we held under median, went down. Like this is where a lot of people also get kind of stuck. Like if you're chasing a divergence like this, right? Fuck, if it lets me draw it. Like say you're chasing a big divergence like this, and you're like, oh, it's gonna break, right? If you notice something, every time we touch that divergence, price is now lower, right? You see how price is lower every time we touch it?
Mm-hmm.
So even though when we do finally break and get our move to upside, we're still lower than we are previously. So this was just a bearish reset at the end of the day. And a lot of people would just keep chasing this breakout. Technically speaking, if you enter from the bottom of the band to that divergence, you would end in profit every time. But that would just be like, you would have to have really good entries, really good exits. That's where like playing median kind of comes in clutch. You
Yeah,
can see
I also tried another long.
Mm-hmm.
I also tried another long like pre-market,
Around what
and
time?
yeah, when the 5 minute came back into the band, like I think like a couple minutes before pre-market, when the 5 minute came back into the band, I tried longing, and yeah, I got cooked because it just straight dumped to that level and then bounced. Yeah.
A little bit before pre-market. Pre-market.
No, right there, right there,
Oh, I
like
open.
where the
Right
no,
here.
where the wick is to the 034 level.
This 034, 030. Oh, okay. So you tried
Yeah,
longing here.
there. No, not on at the bottom. I tried longing earlier because the 5 was back in the band and I saw the divergence. I was like, I'll try an entry here.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you tried
Yeah.
entering like before this big fuck you candle.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. And then it did play out, but you
And
got
then
stopped out beforehand.
yeah, but then like that was a really big candle down, and I don't think I would have risked
No, makes
below
sense.
that level.
So that was not a bad entry. Like I would say a couple key things, right? You first of all, you kind of got to identify the situation. First of all, New York session is opening, right? So if that's the case already, price is probably at this point. What I'm gonna do in this situation is there's two things. I'm either gonna wait for the break of this high too long, right? Or I could wait for a hold of this low. And technically speaking, you don't have to have a limit order set. Like you could, but you don't have to. If I wanted to, I could have a limit order set at that 059, or I could have one set at this 034, depending on if I think there's gonna be a literally liquidity grab. But say you want to be safer and just wait for this to play out, right? Because you see that divergence happening, and then you could see when price started coming up here, the band started opening up after that candle. You could enter on the break of these highs with confirmation, catch that move. But trying to catch it down here, remember, you kind of want to try to have the best entry possible. It's kind of like hard to say, but it is doable, right? Because you could have done two things. You could have seen you had a level here at this 23034. I don't know if you have a level at that area, do you or no?
Yeah, I do. It's just a little lower.
So you could have said, okay, if we break this low, I'm gonna have a limit order around that 34 area, and then I could have like a 15-20 point stop below that area in case we do break and close, and then flush that 93.8, 93.8.
We had
And
also broken median at the time, so I was like, okay,
see, yeah, that's where it gets tricky. Like in
oh
real
yeah,
time action, that's why I do want to get into real time trading, because sometimes, like, say you would have played the break of median here, right? Some people could have cut the short from this break of this low to this 23.034 area, and that's only like 30 points, but that's still like that's a possible trade you could take, because you're breaking that low, you're breaking median, like you said, but after once you do close above median and then start breaking your previous highs, you could flip your buys to being bullish because that is like a bullish sign. And that's where trading the RSI kind of does get tricky in real time, because that is a really good point. The wicks and the RSI, like you don't see the wicks on the RSI basically because the candle never closes down there. But in real time, the bands could have been opening and the RSI could have been trying to break these lows down here and trying to overextend. So that's something we're gonna have to like practice in real time and see. Because technically, if you were long and short in this area, you both could have been right. Somebody could have caught the short to here, and then the longs played out. And so there's always like two sides to every trade. So I do want to get into more real time trading. We'll probably start the call up really early tomorrow. Maybe like I don't know, maybe even New York session open tomorrow. I'll see. I'll post in the group chat. But we definitely got to get into like real time trading soon, so we can like see how to use stuff in real time. Because it's one thing to just explain it, and then another thing to see it executed and like actual real time during New York session.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Seeing it live, like seeing how you trade live and explaining it as everything was going. That would definitely be very helpful.
Yeah, and then you guys can see like how I would identify a reasonable stop loss or reasonable trims, TPs, how I actually manage position, things of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I need to work on like finding better entries and knowing when to enter.
Because entries are really key.
Oh,
It's something that's like kind of like entry could be the difference between the reason why your TP or stop loss does or doesn't hit. Like it's that big of a deal, and exits as well.
are you gonna like record that too? The live
Yeah, the whole
trading?
session will probably be recorded.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that about wraps it up for today. Just a little overview. Not much new things learned today. Just kind of, again, going over what we already know. And it is nice to see how yesterday we went over those supply and demand levels. And you guys could see how they did kind of just play out in real time. You can see right where we're topping out is this 368 area on the AS and these previous wick lows here. So this will be probably a decent area of resistance.
So you know how the RSI is just like going up on the 5 minute? Would that be considered a divergence or no?
Like this one right here? Or you mean like...
Yeah.
I would more so look at the RSI and see where the RSI was here, 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 here. Because, I mean, there is a little bit of divergence there, but it's kind of like not the greatest, so to speak. Because we might just come back to median and hold and then bounce, or the bands could get tight. We reset, and then it's a bullish reset. Because now we're flipping to the upside, right? So you don't really want to play shorts. If anything, your better play here would be a wait for this 5 minute to reset, bottom out, and catch along on the retrace. Probably to this 306 area maybe, or maybe to these bottom wicks, depending on how much volume there is. And then we'll come over to our 15. Same thing, still opening up, still overextended. And then even if you want the 1 minute, you can see it's tightening up, so we might just come back down to this 340 area here, hold that, and then that would be our bullish reset, and then we keep going higher. But we did finally start breaking previous big session highs. Like we broke above these highs, we broke above these highs, and then we broke above these highs. So we broke this like trend line, so to speak, and we're finally getting back to like higher highs. Because on the big time frame picture, we haven't fully made like a higher high, but on the small scale, we are finally making higher highs again. So it's gonna be time to start looking for longs as long as we can hold above this area. Does that stuff kind of make sense? Is everyone kind of seeing this stuff happen in real time?
I believe it. I personally believe it's helping for sure. Since being in the program, I can tell a difference by how I'm maneuvering, and like I've been moving my stop losses, and Cam said it earlier, like taking more time before just hopping in a trade, being more patient, seeing what develops.
Nice. Okay, I want to see what are some trades you took today, Desmond. Let me take a look. Let me inspect some of the trades you took today.
So on one account, hold on, let me
give me your best trade. The best trade you think you took of the day.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not like point wise or money wise, but more so setup wise. What do you think was the best setup wise trade you took today?
I believe the best trade that I took was the trade that I didn't take, even though my prediction was gonna go long, like on the 5 minute right here. At this 23, hold on, where is that? Yes, at that 23,04125. I was thinking after I saw that where it bounced last Wednesday, along with that big wick candle, I was thinking about getting into it, but I was kind of unsure on the price action, because at this right around this 23,104.50 level, it was making these wicks, so I didn't know. I was trying to decide if the move had already happened but so I didn't feel comfortable entering right there because of those wicks, but I did see it breaking this breaking it above that 23.08825 level. So
Okay.
I didn't take that, but a trade that I did take, hold on, let me refresh the computer.
All right, let's stay on that topic for a bit. It's good that you identified that, right? If for some reason you're
Uh,
not too confident, but you see the setup, right? You saw it, but you're like, oh, those wicks look kind of sus, right? If you entered
yeah.
anywhere in this area, you could size small. You could always just set your stop at that low of day. Uh, but I mean, like you said, it did end up breaking. Once it does break, doesn't mean you missed the trade. You could always wait for your retrace. You see, we came back down to those previous wicks and turned them into our support. So you could have looked for an entry anytime around that, or even on the break of the next highs. When we do start breaking those highs, you could look for a possible entry there.
Yeah, that's where I got scared at, right? Those wick highs right there. Yeah, that you just looked at. See, that's where I was like, damn, did it already happen? Is it over? Because I think that's where I would have been getting in.
I see. And reasonably so. You do have a point there because it could have ended up topping out. So say you do miss the action from here to this range, right? Because remember, it's just range to range. So you miss all this. Now you could wait for the break of the top of the range. Remember, there's the bottom of the range, top of the range, and in between the range. So now we're approaching that top of the range. So you could wait for a break and retest for that next possible entry as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Then what was the next trade?
Let me see. Let me go down to the. Where's the little? Let me open the trading panel real quick. Hold on, bro.
Real quick about that same trade.
Mhm.
So, if how could you tell on the RSI that, or would it be possible to tell on the RSI that that level was going to hold, or would you just have to?
So there's a couple of things I could just identify off rip. So first of all, right, look at the last time we were at this wick. Look at where our side was. Our side is now higher, and we're at the same point, right? And then
Yeah.
the full break, you'd want to see a break of median for like your upside move. Like, because when remember, anything under median is basically sellers in control. Anything above median, buyers in control. So once we start breaking median, buyers are starting to actually step in, and you can see like when we start breaking median, we slowly get that grind up. This would more so come on your one for your entries. You could see like the one was bottomed out here, right? We start breaking median, we chop, 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 and then this is where catching those bottoms, you gotta kind of be careful because sometimes it will just be a bearish reset, and then the R side will top out. But in this case scenario, the bands, you can see the bands opened up throughout the whole way up until here. When the bands they get tight now, and now the R side resets and price is higher than it previously was when we were bottomed out there on the one.
Okay, so find your setups on like the 5 and the 15, and then find your entries on the 1.
Yeah, the one will always probably give you your best entries because you can see like, if you didn't enter like at this RSI, like at the bottom of this RSI with the bottom of these lows, there was really no other entry other than maybe the break of median that you could have taken on the one. Because once you start getting up here, this is kind of risky biscuit area because the band's opening up and you don't know when they could start curling down. So once you get this, where the R side does flatten out and actually curl in, right? You see how I finally like flattened out, curled in here?
Mm-hmm.
Once that happens, now you're going to wait for a reset. You're going to wait for the R side to come all the way back down. Oh, fuck, I'm drawing so much. So you're going to wait for the R side to come all the way back down, which it did. What was it? You see how the R side came all the way back down and finally bottomed out again. And you can see it's flat. So this would be your good entry. This would be your entry. That's another possible good entry here. And you can see that we're holding those previous lows. And if you wanted to be a safe, you could literally set a hard stop loss like right under those lows. I personally would just set a hard stop at low a day in this case scenario, because the risk to reward is just there in this case. Where if you set your stop loss at low a day, you could catch the full reversal. I wouldn't set a tight stop on this. Just I would aim for the bigger picture in this scenario here.
Okay, it makes sense.
And you can see next possible entry, right? Same thing. R side tops out. since we're trying to play the longs, we're gonna want the RSI on the one to be bottomed out, giving us the best possible entry. You see RSI does come back down, price does come back down, and then we fully reset there. And this is the entry I actually took, because I missed this entry, but I was able to catch this one. So the RSI bottoms out, boom, we catch this nice little long schlong move to the upside here.
Okay.
You can see even here on the RSI when we did break out, there was kind of some signs on the one that we were going to eventually break out. We had this like divergence forming here at these highs, and then we finally get that rip above when we get some volume picks up, and then the bands open up, basically a rinse and repeat process of what happened over here.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And on
thanks.
15, is there anything on the RSI there? Only thing, it's actually pretty key here, right? If you came to your 15, you would have seen something very important, right? These lows, what else? Median. This has to hold. If this low doesn't hold, we're like dumping.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So like if there was decent confluences for that long, like you could literally have a limit order set there because there was enough confluences. That's one of those case scenarios where there was good amount of confluences. It is kind of scary because you're like trying to catch a bottom of the day on a bearish day, which could be really risky because it could H pattern and just have the next leg down. But I mean, there was confluences to try to catch that long at that bottom.
Okay, cool.
What was that second trade, Desmond?
I took a trade. I was looking at the 5 minute on TradingView, but on Top Step, I was entering on the 1 minute at 23,198.50. And my exit was 23,188.50. It was a short for 1-to-1.
What was that entry? 23.
It was 23,198.50.
Okay, and you said you shorted this one?
Yes.
Was it this short or this short?
Let me go to the bro. Sheesh, bro. Let me see. Bro, look, yeah, I don't even remember, dog. Those are the numbers, bro.
For sure. Do you know around what time it was? Was it more in the morning or?
Oh yeah, let me check the time. Where's the time at 10:45.
10:45. Perfect. Okay,
Our
so,
time. Yeah.
okay, I actually
Yeah.
I took that short as well. So I took this short as well. And what was your stop loss on this one on your TP?
1-to-1. So damn, it wasn't showing me on. I'm looking at Top Stack X, bro. I don't have anything like
Do you remember
marked,
like how much you were risking? Like $200?
Yeah. Oh, 1-to-1, 5 micros, just for 100 for 100.
Okay. Yeah.
1-to-1.
Pretty solid and TP hit. Nice. All right. Yeah, that wasn't bad. There's two decent setups. Or this one could have been a really nice setup, but like you said, it just kind of. This is kind of a hard setup to catch because you kind of need to have some experience in situations like this. But it was a good setup to identify and then know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up for today. If anybody has any more questions or comments, anything of the sort. No? Alright.
I'm good for now.
My bad. Yeah, no. I'm good, Chris. Thank you.
For sure. Alright, that wraps it up.